So I came from a musical family. My mom's a pianist, my father is a violinist, and so it was natural for me just be a musician. I think it would be exotic if I was a doctor or a lawyer. It would be an exotic profession for them. So I start with violin first, and then with piano. And then when I was about 12 years old or 11 years old, my father was a concert master for an orchestra in São Paulo, and Eleazar de Carvalho was the music director. And so I went there as a kid and was watching the rehearsals and concerts and everything. And Eleazar was just a great figure in my life, and I became really inspired to be a conductor because of him at first place. And then I started studying conducting a little bit with him when I was 13 or something, and then with one of his students when I was about 14, and then just start from there. Then when I was 20 years old, I won a competition in Brazil, where I'm from, and start conducting professionally. So that's how it started. And I'm really glad to be here in Boston now because there's this link with Eleazar because he was assistant conductor back in the 40s when Bernstein was also assistant conductor for the Boston Symphony. So I think I'm the second Brazilian to conduct their orchestra, so I'm really, really happy and honored to be in that position now. I think when I was at the rehearsals with Eleazar, and my father was a concert master, after each rehearsal and after each concert, driving home with my father, he started talking about the music, about the conductor, and what was good, what was wrong, and what about this conductor was great, and this conductor changed the sound of the orchestra. This conductor was not so effective to the orchestra, and that really I became interested how a person that is not playing anything, that had a stick in her hand, can actually change a way 80 professional musicians are playing, and that really interested me. And of course the repertoire, because I think 88 keys of a piano keyboard was not enough. I need 88 musicians to be satisfied, and especially because of the repertoire, Brahms Symphony, Beethoven symphonies, and all that. So that was the key why, even in a very early age, I became really interested about the art of conducting. And but I didn't get to conduct an orchestra until I was 20 years old, or 19 years old, I think. So not so young if you compare to another great conductors. Mazel, for example, he was 5 or something. But I was young for a conductor to be conducting professional orchestras. 19 is even, it's not old conductor for, let's say. And but it was always a great experience, and I think the key is because I work with them as a team, and I feel myself as a musician as I was playing violin in an orchestra. So it never had the relationship like conductor and musician. So even when I was really young, I always had a great environment with all the orchestras I worked at. So, yeah. I met Maestro Mazur in Brazil, actually, in Rio, and he was teaching a masterclass in Rio with the Brazilian Symphony Orchestra. And I went there to participate in the masterclass, and I remember I was conducting Romeo and Juliet at Tchaikovsky, and he made such a wonderful. He told me, that performance, your performance of Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet, was one of the most touching performances I ever heard about this piece, and that really, coming from, Mazur, was such a wonderful compliment. And then we stayed in contact, and he invited me to be part of a new program, which is called the Mendelssohn Scholarship, sponsored by the American Friends of Mendelssohn. And I traveled with Maestro Mazur for 2 months in Europe, and then in ending the trip in New York as his assistant for the National France Orchestra, the Gewandhaus, and the New York Philharmonic. And during those 2 months was such an honor to be with Maestro Mazur and learn from him as a musician, as a conductor, and as a human being. He's amazing. And so it was an honor, and I was really glad that I could, met him and having lessons with him and learn from him and be traveling with him, getting to know him a little bit more personally. So that was an amazing experience.